From KUNC and the NPR network, this is In The NoCo. I'm Erin O'Toole.
I actually love teaching toddlers, but parenting them, I've never felt so physically inadequate in my entire life. Like, it's embarrassing how winded you get putting a 2-year-old into a minivan, am I right?
Comedian and writer Stephanie Sprenger bears all in her comedy. Through her stand-up, the Arvada resident broaches subjects that might make people blush, but are very real portrayals of life as a middle-aged single mom. Things like menopause, potty breaks, and divorce. Stephanie is part of a group of 4 comedians and 4 storytellers performing this Thursday in Lafayette at an event called Reclamation, The Fempire Strikes Back. She joins us now to talk about what inspires her comedy and how she came to stand up relatively late in life. Stephanie, welcome to In The NoCo.
Hi, Erin. Thank you so much for having me.
Stephanie, you've had a full life as a mom with a career as a music therapist, working for years as a writer, editor, and podcaster. But you're in kind of a brand new place here with stand-up comedy. Why stand-up?
I feel like doing stand-up comedy when I turned 45 was maybe one of the craziest ideas I ever had. And I was also 2 months into a divorce. And so it was certainly not something I planned for.
It has to be a little unnerving to get up on stage for the first time and try out your material. How did that go?
So my background, it's music therapy. And so I did music classes for toddlers and their parents for 20 years. So I really feel like I had practiced with the original tough crowd, like people rolling around on the floor and having bathroom accidents while you were trying to entertain them. So really, it couldn't get much worse than that. So I was prepared.
And perimenopause plus divorce is fun. What is up with the world not acknowledging the crappiness of perimenopause? I realized last week that autocorrect doesn't even recognize it as a word. I mean, sure, it's like menopause light, but it still sucks. I mean, menopause may be worse, but peri is like a foretaste of the feast to come, as they say. So when my married friends tell me they're considering an open marriage, I'm like, oh, you're in peri-divorce.
You've referred to your comedy as truth-telling, and you certainly get into topics that feel really real, especially for women in various stages of motherhood or just different and maybe uncomfortable life stages. Why is it important to talk about this on stage?
Oh, I love talking about it on stage because I feel like I couldn't ever read stories or do comedy that wasn't about something that was deeply personal to me. And I think it's because for my whole life, I've had this almost feverish desire to connect with other people, right? Like, do you feel this way too? Do you do this weird thing? It's like all the little quirks we have, all our fears and our hangups and the things that make us feel self-conscious. I just feel so much better when we're saying that out loud together. I just think there's nothing more powerful than women connecting over those things we don't talk about.
Well, you are the co-founder and co-editor of the Her Stories project.
Yes.
This is a writing and publishing community for women with a focus on things like female friendship and motherhood, including the postpartum experience. It's very forthright and heartfelt. I'm wondering how being a part of that informed your journey into the stand-up that you do now.
So we've sort of, as we've evolved, we've been doing it for, I think we founded it 13 years ago. So we were like young mothers, right, with little kids. And what we noticed is when we Gen X women hit midlife, we started to talk about different kinds of things. You weren't talking about like fishing crayson speckled feces out of the bathtub while your toddler screamed anymore. You were like, you know, why can't I sleep? And does everyone hate their husband? And what's wrong with my children? And what's wrong with me? And
so, a new reality.
It is a new reality. The things you talk about shift. And so being around all of these midlife women who are Gen Xers and are bold and are talking and writing about their lives, I think it made me just realize how hungry women are to talk about our lives, to share our stories.
Knowing that you have worked in the past as a therapist, I know with younger people, but I have to ask, do you draw any material from your patients anonymously, of course?
So it's my practice is music therapy, and I get to teach voice lessons with adolescent girls. I mean,
Okay.
is there anything more amazing than that? And I have to say, there are so many parallels between working with adolescent girls, teaching them to literally use their voices to sing, and working with midlife women who, I mean, let's be honest, midlife is a second adolescence, isn't it? And
I never thought about it like that, but yeah.
we have to reinvent, right? And we have to reinvent and reclaim our voices, hence reclamation. And so it's like, I've got 12-year-old girls who are learning how to really like sing it with like take the mute out of the trumpet bell and really let the top off, right? And then we've got these women who are finding themselves at 40, 45, 50, 60 and thinking, God, there's so much about this stage of life that I didn't think it was going to be like this. And to help grow together and guide women to find their voice, rediscover their voice, it's not all that different from teaching a 13-year-old how to sing.
Stephanie, you have another new addition to your life. You were recently diagnosed with ADHD.
I was. My third child.
So how did this diagnosis change things for you?
It has changed almost everything. And I know that sounds grandiose. And it's not just like, oh my God, now that I have Ritalin, I can do anything. It's not about that. I think it's that midlife thing of, for decades, you kind of take these things for granted about yourself. You think things are quirks, or maybe there's something wrong with you, or everyone got a memo that you didn't get, like you missed some kind of crucial training session. So now it's like so much about my childhood and even my early motherhood makes so much more sense now because I understand myself differently. And it's like a map is only going to get you so far if you're reading the wrong map.
Yeah. Well, joking about taboo subjects and making these undesirable traits known to an audience, I think does create a sense of community and openness. It sounds like comedy is a really unique path into creating this kind of community and this kind of change.
Yeah, I really think it is. I think it's revolutionary. As women taking the stage in comedy, we bring this sense of apologetic, permission-seeking, like an inability to take up space. And so when you're standing on the stage, using your voice, telling your jokes, it's powerful. And to have to train yourself, like, I deserve to be here. My voice is worthy. I'm going to stand up tall. I'm going to take my time. And so it feels really revolutionary when we do comedy as women and when we talk about subjects that are meaningful to us.
Well, Stephanie Sprenger, thank you so much for talking with me today.
Oh, Erin, thanks for having me. I could talk about this all day long. It was wonderful to be on the show.
You can find more information about this Thursday's event, Reclamation, The Fempire Strikes Back, in our show notes and at KUNC.org. And hey, we make this show for you. So if there's a story or an issue we should be talking about, drop us a line. Our email is noco@KUNC.org. That's NOCO@KUNC.org. That's it for us today on In The NoCo. I'm Erin O'Toole. Thanks for listening.